Okay, let's see here. Got it. And got it. Okay, Maurice, you're recording.
Boom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a fantastic show with an incredible lady. I'm on Nuclear Popcorn Show. I'm the host, Maurice Dwayne Smith, and we have an incredible woman named Havila Malone. Let me give you her bio here. Havila Malone is an inspirational thought leader on a mission to be a catalyst for positive change in over 2 billion people's lives. The multi-talented millennial powerhouse has been featured on Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS, and more. The actress, motivational speaker, and more is also a former Miss Louisiana Universal, currently resides in Los Angeles. And Havila is also the #1 best-selling author of How to Become a Publicity Magnet in Any Market via TV, radio, and print, and co-author of the Think and Grow Rich children's classic, The Amazing Adventures of Oliver Hill, based on Napoleon Hill's success principles. Her newest #1 best-selling, Rewriting a New History of Spiritual Path to Audacious Authenticity and Healing, is available now. Now, Havila also shares her pillars of success with audiences around the world. She has also been featured in numerous films, national TV commercials, HBO's Insecure, and guest stars on NCIS New Orleans. Ms. Malone is a recipient of the President's Volunteer Service Award Gold Medal, the Women's Prosperity Network She Rocks Award, and selected as the SBA Innovated Her Challenge winner. Havila also holds several professional accreditations, including being a certified instructor from Napoleon Hill Foundation and master certified practitioner of NLP, that's Neuro Linguistic Programming. Havila's nurturing spirit, inspirational voice, and magnetizing personality inspire people to be proof of what's possible. Hello there, Miss Havila Malone. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Now that you're here, I was hoping you'd get here, and then we had our little problems with power and everything, and my power started going out. I don't know what the hell's going on, probably because I have everything on in my apartment here. But now we got it going, and so nice to see you. You're looking great over there.
Thank you.
So let's just jump right into it. I have known you for about 2 years, 3 years, and I was kind of faked out of the gym because Sheila never told me that you were more than a TV host, because I thought you were a TV host. We're hanging out, and I'm on TV eating probably popcorn, whatever. All of a sudden I see you in a commercial. I was like, that's Havila. And then next thing I know, there's another one. I was like, wow, she's popping out like popcorn all over the place. She is nuclear popcorn. So then I started thinking, well, let me take a look. And then another one, and another one. I was like, whoa. Then when I check out your IMDb, you've been on TV and everything else. You've done books. You're like a regular powerhouse, very diversified, which is quite cool. And I just want to know, you are from New Orleans. That's where you won your beauty contest, right?
Yes. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, and more specifically for people who are familiar with Louisiana, actually I'm from Kenner. So when you fly into New Orleans, you're actually flying into Kenner, and we're just like 15 minutes out from the city center.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So being here in California is something that you've jumped into like a duck in the water, because it seems like everything you go after, you book it. And that's kind of right up there in alignment with what you say, showing people what's possible. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more and why that's so powerful in your life to exert that type of influence and impact on people's lives?
Absolutely. I think my mantra for life, and what you'll see probably hashtagged on everything that I post, is be proof of what's possible, because we are so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for or have ever been really taught that we are. Like, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, which means we have access to every resource, the power, the connections, the things that we need to manifest anything that we want. and we do things that are in alignment with universal laws, you can manifest some pretty extraordinary things. And so when I made the decision to more fully pursue my acting career, to move out to Los Angeles, like I had a very clear intention, I had a very clear vision. And as the intuitive knowing of like what to do, or even going through training of what to do came about, it was like, okay, you take this action, you take this inspired action. That nope, don't do that. That's not in alignment. And so, and being able to hold a clear vision of what you want. So often we focus on what we don't want. And therefore, that's sending out a signal, that's sending out energy. And whatever you focus on, that's where energy goes and what you start to attract to you. So if you focus on, I'm not booking, like I'm not getting called in, or I go on these auditions and I'm not getting the call back. If that's what you focus on, then that is what has to show up in your experience. I go on with the vision of, first of all, I have a belief that what's for me is for me. Like there's no competition between me and someone else. Whoever else is in that room, if it's for them, it's for them. If it's for me, it's for me. And so even having that is a relief of holding tension and having resistance when you're not in a competitive mode with anybody. And also being very clear about, you know what, that felt so aligned, like that's mine. Like that is done. And my booking ratio, like my callbacks, my avails, my booking have gone up astronomically. And it's really through just applying principles of success. And those principles can be applied to any area of your life, to anything you want, because we are pretty powerful beings.
Very cool. That's very cool. So now, would you say that was cultivated on your own, or was that taught to you or shown to you spiritually, or by a galvanizing force like mother, father, teachers?
I think it's a combination of quite a few things. I think a lot of times we have to come to a place of crisis, or a place of kind of stalemate, where we're just like, enough is enough. And like the beginning of my career, like I started off in news, and after a few years of being in news every day, like a rape, a murder, a fire, I was just like, you know what, this is not really in alignment with me. And so let me go and explore maybe what is in alignment for me in my career path and life path. And I had ended up leaving out of the television field altogether, went into corporate America. So I was running $160 million technology business for nearly a decade for one of the largest computer manufacturers in the world, and actually ended up becoming their spokesperson on like the Home Shopping Network and QVC. So I used to sell HP products on those shopping channels. And after a decade of being with this organization, we all experienced a massive layoff. And that layoff, where in the original, like when you look at something like that, it's kind of like, whoa, because my identity had become tied with being Miss HP. Like I was their representative on TV. Like I had this huge, network of clients that I worked with. And like, this was who I thought I was. And when that was no longer my identity, it really made me have to go in and be like, Habila, who really are you? And what is it that you really want in life? Because even though I had what could be considered the American dream, all of these markers of success, I was actually waking up every day depressed. Like I was waking up and like having to manufacture the smile and having to pull myself up to go and do the things that I was doing, because I wasn't living fully in alignment with my purpose at that time. And so the layoff actually was a blessing in disguise. And it really opened up the door, opened up the space for me to start to do my real work and start to heal. So I was led to, I watched Oprah Winfrey. She had a special or her and her producer had gone to a Tony Robbins event. It was UPW, Unleash Your Power Within, and they walked on fire and they had all these tremendous breakthroughs. And I was just like, one day I'm gonna get to that event. One day I'm gonna do that. And it was 9 months to the day that I was at UPW at Tony Robbins event. I walked on fire. I had extraordinary breakthroughs. My mind was like cracked open to new possibilities. And that's what started my healing journey and started me with these new understandings. And I have had progressive teachers throughout the years, and that have led me to greater and deeper understandings truly of self and who and what we really are and what power we have access to. And it's available to all of us.
Yeah, yeah. It's I can't remember. Oh yeah, I know who I was thinking about. Seal's song. In a world full of people, only someone to fly. Isn't that crazy? You've heard that song yet? It's so crazy. It was Song of the Year. Let me see how he says in a world full of people, only someone to fly. Isn't that crazy? In a world full of people, only someone to fly. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. He says in a world full of people, yeah, in a world full of people, only someone to fly. Isn't that crazy? In an ocean full of people, only someone to fly. Then he goes, "Am I crazy? Am I crazy?" So I used to like be hypnotized to that song. You know, people thought this guy's weird. That's all he plays, and I'd be blasting it all day on it. But I say, no, the man's not saying he's crazy. He's saying there's an ocean full of people. There's a world. There's an air full of people. Only some people want to grab their life by the horns and do something.
Absolutely. And we all have free will. Like we all have choice as to what we want to gain out of this life, what we want to experience out of this life. So like nobody's gonna force it upon you to like want better for yourself or to soar higher, you know, or to learn how to fly, as the song says. But that's something that has to come from an internal desire. Now, sometimes we don't go after things because we don't think it's possible for us. And that just comes down to seeing examples or being able to be led in a direction that shows, no, anything you want, you can have it. Now there's certain things that you need to do internal work so that you can align yourself with that and open yourself to it, but you can have it. Now, if you don't want it, oh, that's okay. Like that's your choice.
Because if you don't want it, you'll be like, oh snap, here comes Javila. She's definitely gonna get that thing, no doubt about it.
Right. I'm showing up for mine.
So I mean, you can imagine me thinking, okay, she's a talk show host and she's an author. Like, I didn't even know you were an author. I just figured, okay, you're on NBC, and I'm sitting there watching TV. I'm like, it looks like Javila. And then you start talking, and you go, you don't know me. And then I was like, that is her. And then it's like, it was funny, but it's like, it's a cold-blooded commercial. And then you kept getting these commercials over and over again. Then I started following your page, and I see booked this. I was like, damn, let me check out who she is. And then I see that you're also a beauty queen, because it's kind of weird. Remember how we met? I was traveling with our friend Sheila.
Yes, Sheila Mack.
Sheila Mack, and she introduced us. And then I'm like, you know, this is very incredible people. So I'm thinking, rolling with Sheila, you get to meet powerful, powerful people. So,
and matter of fact, Sheila and I met through the Tony Robbins world, through his Platinum Partnership program. And it was like that exposed me to people who thought on a higher level than I did at the time. And it opened me to a new world of possibilities, because it was just kind of like, I wasn't taught to think this way. I wasn't taught to see the world from this lens. And I didn't even know that you could see the world from this lens. And really going from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. And when you shift into that energy, so many things will change within your life, but it takes reprogramming. And it's not something that we are typically, like, you definitely don't learn it in school. So it's a journey that you have to go on for yourself to be able to find these tools and find these communities of people. And I think right now, in the time that we live, it's more important than ever that we start to speak out more about this, that we start to share these stories more, because people are hungering for more out of life. Like what we've been given and taught, it's like it's not enough anymore. Like our souls are like you've been like surviving off of crumbs when
Yeah.
the whole feast is available to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's walk away from them crumbs and let's walk over to and take our seat at this table.
Definitely. I've been checking out, I was having a fight with my iPad here because it wanted to have a mind of its own. It's like, well, I'm having crumbs and I want to just jump inside of this show, and little stuff started popping through. So I had to turn it off. And the first thing that pops up is the Success Stalker show. How long did you do that show?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I've been on that show twice. I've done 2 episodes of that show. Yeah, Miss Iona is amazing.
You're like talking success. I like how that sounds, you know.
Yeah, like she brings on really successful people to be able to share what their processes are, the things, you know, their journey, the things that they have gone through or broken through to be able to get to where they are. And I love things like that because it's an opportunity and a platform to be able to share so that people can see that, you know what, well, dang, if you were able to make it through this, and now you're experiencing this level of success, I can do it too. Like, it's not like, oh, you're some special creature, like you or some anomaly. Like somebody's like, oh, you're a unicorn. I'm like, cool, like that sounds amazing. But guess what? We're all unicorns if we choose to be unicorns. Like, you know.
Yeah. So it's like you just showed off, like, no, don't be trying to pigeonhole me. I'm just gonna keep winning. Don't put no labels on me. But when it's number one, that'd be me. That's cool about you. I like that. So now I noticed when I first met you, you had a very short haircut. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I didn't want to bring it up, but you had a short haircut. I thought about Jada. I thought about Will. So I'm like, if I bring this up, is Will gonna bust in here and start acting cool? But do you? And then I used to have a girlfriend who had hair like that, and I noticed other women. There's a Puerto Rican model that I know that has hair in that style as well. I have a couple questions. Is that like a new style that's catching fire? And if not, is it just something that you like to do? Because I notice a lot of times, and I look at some of your pictures, you have long hair. Sometimes you go to the short style.
Yeah. I'll tell you,
So
so for me, my journey, so for the majority of my life, I had relaxed long hair. And so that's what I grew up with. That's what I knew, that was my norm. And there will be times where I would get an inkling of, ooh, like, what if I cut all my hair off? But there was so much fear around it for me because I'm like, I don't know what my head looked like. You know, it could be lumpy and bumpy, you know, and I've never dealt with natural hair. I mean, I'm sure like as a kid, I had natural hair, but like I didn't have to deal with it. So I was like, I don't know what my hair texture, porosity, all that stuff is. And so like, it was very foreign to me. And it was after I came back from an ayahuasca ceremony, from a retreat, where I was able to tap into a deeper level of mind, of spirit, and had so many divine downloads that came through me. And one of the messages that I got very clearly was, it's time to cut off all the hair. And I had just finished my reigning year as Miss Louisiana. So I had come from like having like super long hair, wearing a crown. Like there was a specific look around that whole experience. And so getting that clear message of it's time to cut the hair off. And it was for 2 specific reasons. One, the message was no more hiding. So I had been hiding behind the hair, and it was like, no, we're taking it all off. And the other, I received a sense of freedom. So I literally left from that retreat. I fly down to Dallas where my dad lived. I had him bring me to his barber and I was like, let's cut all the hair off. But I went like completely like no hair.
Mhm.
And the sense of freedom that I felt from doing that, because we also hold their cellular memory in our hair. So your lifetime of experiences and things that have happened are held within the cells of your hair. And so it was like having a fresh start. And so I was so grateful for having that experience. So it's been like maybe so what are we in 2022? So probably like 3 or 4 years that I've had short hair. And I just in the last, since July, I think July of last year is the last time I cut it all off, and my hair started growing out. And I was just like, you know what, let's see what happens. Let's see what it looks like, as it grows out naturally. And so I'm experimenting right now and just, having the experience of what my natural hair is. And so, especially as women and Black women particularly have such a unique relationship with their hair. And so to be able to release and not allow that to control or have power over me was really something, a part of my growth process.
Definitely. Yeah, because we as Black people, I guess we have the most different type of not only bodies, but hair and color. But our hair is like wild. And for a while I've always dug we're like the Jamaicans say, nappy or natty Rasta, stuff like that. Me and all my friends always like that. But then I got older and I noticed that people were like, especially women, don't be calling me nappy, don't be tripping on my hair. But women of all states I've been in have this thing about don't get that hair wet, don't get it wet. And now I notice there's been an explosion of, you know what? I like my hair nappy. I like it frizzy. It's like we should have been like this all the time, embracing our freaking hairstyle. And now
Amen.
everybody everywhere wants to look like the brothers and sisters with that wild, funky hair. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And to embrace yourself and how you show up in the world, like your curves, your hair texture, whatever that is. And because there's been conditioning that you should look a certain way. Like there was a time that, especially for like, say, news broadcasters and things like that for women of color, that it was considered unprofessional to have natural hair on camera as a host. And so they just passed like the Crown Act, which now gives, yes, our natural hair. How could your natural hair not be professional? Like, this is what is growing from my scalp that comes out of me, like unprocessed naturally. And so it's also a matter of reconditioning the mindset and accepting ourselves and having that self-love and understanding that beauty comes in so many different forms, and how you look is beautiful. It's perfect. It doesn't have to be modeled after somebody else in the way they look. That's they look. You have yours, and that's just fine.
Yeah. And like yourself, you're a trailblazer. So on that tip, are you working towards feature films as well at this moment?
Yes, certainly. Matter of fact, there's a feature film that I am a part of that'll be releasing on April 12th on Lord, the streaming platform. Yeah, like Apple TV and Amazon Prime. Yes, it's called American Reject. So yes, I am definitely. I'm this way. We are multi-talented beings. I feel like this platform of television, film, commercials, it's a way to be able to express that talent in some very unique ways. I enjoy doing it. I'm very good at doing it, and it allows me to express my creativity. So where opportunities open up and align for the type of projects that that I want to be a part of, that promote the messages that are important to me, then I'm down for it. And I was like, I will definitely be booking a Marvel series, as well as to be a powerful prosecuting attorney on an extremely successful television series. So those are two of the things that I am putting out into the universe. And matter of fact, when I was on HBO's Insecure, I got to play a lawyer, but I was like, awesome. Like the universe was like, here's a little taste of what it is that you're asking for, and I got more to come for you. So
You're like, I'm gonna put not only the big toe in it, but I'm gonna get baptized in this bad boy.
that part, look.
I'm gonna have a straw sticking up under it.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? I feel like the biggest purpose of my entertainment career and being able to be put on these really powerful platforms and to be seen on TV and recognized in that way, it's for a bigger purpose. It's for when I come and share these messages, the messages that are really impactful for people's lives, and give them tools and information to help shift their mindset, you listen. Why? Because it's like, oh, that's the lady I saw on TV, or I trust, her journey because of the things that I enjoy from her on the entertainment side. But these platforms have been given to me for a much bigger purpose. And I appreciate that. I accept my assignment, and I'm going to continue to do my work.
So I see on that note, on this, it looks like this is creating style or creating table. Talks about how Malone, how to become a publicity magnet.
Oh,
So,
you mean the magazine I was featured in?
Yeah, your seat at the table, creating your seat at the table. So what you're talking about now is do you actually have seminars where you actually impart these skills to people as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I speak on stages, do workshops and things of that nature to be able to help teach these pillars of success, to be able to give people information on how to align with universal laws so that they can step fully into their power and manifest the things that they want within their lives. Like, how do we know unless we're taught these things? And I have spent many years, a decade at least, on my own personal journey of healing from like childhood sexual abuse, from healing from, lack of self-esteem, disappointments, and things like that, to be able to shift that mindset, to reprogram myself, to be able to step into that place of power so that now I have a different frame of reference for life, and I focus on different things and I'm able to process things differently. And so I share those tools with other people to be able to help them do the same and better.
Very cool. So now on the trajectory of being on a higher plane or being on a mission, so to speak, would you say that there's a chance that you might find yourself in politics?
It's so interesting. Like, so many people say that. They're like, you should run for an office. That's not something that's ever called to me, to run for, be a part of, in that particular platform or that particular way. I feel like the path that I am on and the way that I choose to share my message and make an impact with people's lives is the one that I am being called to at this time. So I'm never one to say like never say never about, anything, because if you're open to the universe, if you're open to possibilities, things may show up for you differently. But at this time and juncture in my life, it's not something that I see on the horizon.
Yeah, you never know though.
True. Like I said, you never say never, but I can say not right now.
You got the bug right now, right? So who was the most, not so much influential person, but who do you think was the one that instilled within you and galvanized you to have this ferocious steel will to persevere, learn, and give back to people?
Mm.
Because you said you overcame quite a few things. Some people would have been crushed by that, become serial killers. You know, some people do turn in that direction instead of using it for a backbone of strength.
Mhm.
So who do you think was your parents or teachers or the church or just reading the Bible or
I would say
who do you
one of
think?
the most impactful learnings that have made a huge impact on my life is actually from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Those
Mhm.
principles that he outlines from that 1937 release, that is actually one of the top 10 books of all time. It's created more millionaires than any other success philosophy, but it's not just about money, because those principles are life principles. And I think starting to take that information in and understanding about, having a desire, having a definite major purpose in life, breaking down the actual formula for self-confidence, breaking down the formula for attaining a goal, to learn about the contribution that is necessary for you to continue that cycle going. It was like it broke it down in such a formulaic way that was so impactful for me, that and it's a tool that I go back to. Matter of fact, I am now the co-author of the children's version of Think and Grow Rich, because I've had an opportunity to work with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, because the work that I did for myself was so impactful. So that was definitely a huge influence. And then of course I've had people, like actual people in my life, from like watching the strength of my mother, my good friend Sandra Richardson, like who was a powerhouse woman, my friend Kiali, who another powerhouse, and just being able to be surrounded, Sheila, like being able to be surrounded by people who have characteristics and traits that I admired and that I had aspiration to incorporate in my life. It has also been really impactful. Like watching Oprah, I'm like, this woman has the same 24 hours in the day that all of us have, but yet look at all of what she's able to accomplish. And that comes from having a clear vision, determination, knowing how to delegate, and not accepting no as an answer. So, there's been a lot of people who have positively impacted my life and that I'm super grateful for.
And getting out of college at 19, how does one get out of college at 19? I think Sheila did that too, or at 15, or some crazy ass freaking just fast amount of time. So were you having fun as a teenager while you were doing all that? Or?
Yeah, like I graduated from high school when I was 16. I graduated from college when I was 19. You know what? I looked at school as something that was necessary to be done, but I've always saw it as, once I get out of school, then I get to start my real life. So I was like, let me try to get through this as quickly as possible so I can get to my real life. And that came from even from middle school. Like I was in like honors courses, I was in advanced classes. And so I was able to move along in my training curriculum a lot quicker. And then when I learned that, like in college, when I learned like you can test out of classes, like you can test like literally instead of taking the whole class, just go, you get the manual or whatever, you have to take a final exam. So I was like, how many of these can I test out? And so it's like, at the end of the day, it's about learning the rules of the game and then learning how to win at them. So I was like, and I even found in high school, because I found out how many credits I needed to be able to graduate. And I was like, whoa, if I go to summer school for 2 summers, I could take like GEMS, or I took driver's ed. Like I took anything to be able to get extra credit, because I knew how many extra credits I needed to be able to move ahead quicker. But it came from having a goal and then looking for opportunities to fulfill that goal, which I wanted to get out of school.
So you, at a young age, looks like you diversified yourself and flipped the script, and you were an anomaly just by the very fact of what you achieve. But I see you as someone that bucks the whole notion of celebrityhood, because a lot of people, they'll quit high school so they can go on tour to become a rock star, or they'll drop out of high school or whatever to become this or that. Whereas you took another road, you just graduated and then did what you wanted, which, you know,
Absolutely. Like I love learning. Like I love education. I think it's extremely important. I don't think that we necessarily get the things that we need for real life through the schooling process.
I feel the same way.
You know, so like the self-education process, I think the things that you start to instill in yourself after school, because learning should never stop.
Yeah.
That's sometimes the most important pieces that actually apply to real life, as opposed to learning, you know, algorithms and algebra. Like I don't use algebra in my real life. Like if I went down like a math, like became a statistician or you know, went into some type of, you know, scientific or math field, then possibly that would have been something that I utilized. Like need to add and divide and multiply. Now, yes, I need to be able to count my money. But
Yeah, but all that other wild stuff. But you know, when I was going through high school, I never really had a teacher who showed me how to do that, or rather, I was too interested in sports and girls, whatever. But when I got into college and found a teacher that made me not necessarily like geometry, but showed me how to do it, I was kind of like, damn, you know, this is kind of fun now that I know how to do it, because like you said, you need tools. And I
yes.
found teachers that would show me the tools, not just say, well, what do you think this is? What do you think that is? And I'm thinking, if I knew that, I wouldn't be sitting in your class. You know, just show me how to do it. So when I found out teachers who would show me how to do the damn formula, then it's like, you know, so I'm all up on what you said about giving people tools, and you definitely, you know, grabbed the bull by the horn. And speaking of tools, do you take acting classes as well, or do you basically observe people uh, on your own? Because I know some actors, like I think Samuel Jackson or someone, said that he doesn't have a problem with people, you know, going to all these different. No, I think it was Morgan, where certain actresses said, well, they'll go into the hood or whatever to watch prostitutes so they know how prostitutes act and all this kind of stuff. He's like, no, I just learned the script. You know, so would you say that you're more into just learning the script and just applying what you learn, or do you actually go to class and, you know, do that type of thing?
A combination of all of the above. I think the best tool, at least for me, is actually living life, like having a full, rich life of experiences. Because when you are interacting with people, also observing people, you get to see how, you know, people react. You get to start to tune into micro expressions, or, you know, in certain scenarios, how things are unfolding. And your own experiences give you so much more to pull from when you're asked, you know, to have a scene that has some depth to it. So I think there's also like really powerful teachings that you can learn in classes to be able to tap into, you know, those emotional depths, to tap into, you know, like finding the love in the scene, but living life. And so, and that's why I was like, even for actors, I'm such a huge proponent of fantastic, be an actor, do that, pursue it with all that you have, but also live life. Like
Yeah,
really get out there and experience life, because that'll be your best teacher for being able to bring something to the table that is real.
true. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of actors watching this, and they're going to say, okay, I'm living life. I'm putting my best foot forward. I want what I want. I show up, but I don't get the callbacks you do. I don't win the role. What would you say is the best way for them to overcome that? Come to it as if it's there for them specifically, and not be, you know, feeling either less than or intimidated by someone that may have a bigger, um, you know, repertoire or portfolio.
One of the biggest things is this industry is the callback, is the avail, is the booking, is that what you use to define yourself?
Mhm.
Because when that becomes the crutch of your self-worth, then you are always going to be coming from a place of empty. And when you
Mm.
show up in a room from a place of empty, unconsciously people can feel that.
Mm.
And so that affects you getting a callback or an avail or a booking. So when you learn to love you and know that your worth comes not from anything outside of you, but from within you and who and what you really are, then that's a powerful energy to step into a room with. That's an energy
Wow.
that commands attention. That's an energy that is like, out of the 200 people that we saw, like, golly, that person stood out. Like, man, I felt something when I was around that person. When they delivered those lines, Jesus, like I felt it inside of me. That has to come
Mhm.
from within you. So the work is always inside first, then the exterior stuff.
Mm.
Inside first.
Cool.
And then when you have a clear
Inside
vision
first.
and your vision, your thoughts, your
Mhm.
words, and your
Mhm.
actions align, they're actually aligned, you'll
Mhm.
get the things that you want. Well, it's available to you.
Cool. That kind of reminds me of what William Defoe said. He was like, people show up and they want to have a award-winning show. They want to get an Oscar or whatever. And I think what I remember him saying is, don't concentrate on trying to get it. Just concentrate on doing the best job you can do. Everything will take care of itself after that.
Absolutely. And then let that go. Like I have a friend of mine who, will work on an audition or something like that, and say you doesn't hear anything for like a week or 2 weeks, and then it's constantly replaying that tape back in their mind over and over and over again. And it's like, that is an energy drain, and you're
Mm.
putting so much energy towards, well, when am I going to get it? It's from a scarcity mentality, as opposed to, you go out there, you do your best work, you put it on the table, and you walk away. Because I have a life. Like, this don't define me. Like, this I'm coming to give you a gift. If that gift fits with your vision and your project and we align, fantastic. If that gift don't fit, baby, I'm gonna take that gift and bring it to the next project, bring it to the next audition. Like, I'm coming here to give something. I'm not coming here to get something.
Right, right.
That's a
Cool.
different mindset.
Very different mindset. You're one of the few people who say that, because a lot of people are like, no, well, what about this? Do you come in character? Because I hear that Denzel Washington will come in character, and if you don't come by that character name, you're talking to a brick wall.
He's a method actor. Yeah. So that's the process or tool that he has found that works for him, that puts him into that headspace or that physical space to be able to embody and be that character. And I know, like Samuel L. Jackson, like, he loves character acting. Like, he loves to be able to. I just finished reading his book, or the biography about him, called Bad Motherfucker. Like, and which is really interesting book about his journey and his life. And like,
Addiction too.
yeah, absolutely. And like, his journey through that. And that's why I think it's really important too for us to hear people's stories, to hear where they came from. Matter of fact, Steven Spielberg's biography, oh my God, I was like, after reading that book, it's called like a Lucas, a Life or something like that, or I was like, hell, I could do anything. I'm like, if this man.
I went somewhere and I forgot which. It was like a producer seminar, and what I remember, the guy said Stephen was, when he first started, no one knew him, but he would like do things to portray that he was who he was going to become. So if there was something that was going on, he might have a locker in the building or somewhere where other producers would see it. He'd have his name on it and stuff like that. Meanwhile, he didn't have shit going on, but he'd always be that person.
And
know,
that's a
he'd ask her,
principle of success, is to act
"Oh,
as if now. So you don't
great,
say,
yeah,
like, there's even a scripture for people who are, like Bible readers, and it says, let the weak say I am strong. It doesn't say let the weak say I'm weak. You say I am strong because you step into the energy, the physicality of the thing that you want right now. So if your goal is to be an Oscar winner, you have to believe that right now. And then, because where it manifests first is on a spiritual plane. And
mhm,
then all the components come together on this physical plane and bring you the actual thing in this 5 sense taste, touch, feel experience that we have as human beings. But your thought creates it first. So
mhm."
you have to act as if it is right now. Then you'll get what you want in this physical realm.
Boom. So would you say it's about not only act as if, but also physical, spiritual and actual, what's the word, like visualization? Do you visualize, or
Oh,
do you?
absolutely. Like think about it. Like, I'll give you an example right now. I want you
Mhm.
to think about the tastiest, juiciest hamburger you've ever had in your life. Does a picture come to mind?
Probably, I could think about stuff here, but I know that if I just go straight to a thought of what tastes real good, it'd probably be either South Carolina or Manhattan somewhere. Some juicy, just obnoxiously, just greasy ass, just just retarded, fat,
And as you're
slide
thinking
out.
about that, do you have a very specific picture in your mind,
I,
or
no,
some
well, I just see
some
a
type of
burger.
image
I see a
in your
burger like
mind?
that. I see the burger like that, but I don't know where I see it from. But now,
But you have an
but I do,
image, and
but I
that's
do,
the
I do,
point.
but I do see that type of pizza. Remember, like Sarah Love used to say, action, action, action. I used to go to that very pizza place.
It's hard to hear you. It's
Huh?
hard to hear you.
I'm saying I used to go to the very place that Saturday Night Live used to have John Belushi saying action, action, action. And there was a spot right in the village, right on West 4th. That's where they took that from. And I remember that pizza. It used to be like everyone fighting each other to get that damn pizza slice. And the pizza slice would be greasy. It'd be so big, it'd be flopping over both sides of your hand. And you'd eat it scalding, it'd be burning the shit out of you. And it'd be delicious, but you'd be in heaven just burning and, you know,
So from what you just described, you definitely have an image in your
oh
mind,
yeah.
because you just gave us a very vivid description of
I,
that
I missed that
experience.
damn pizza, okay?
And that's the
I think about that
thing,
pizza.
that everything that we experience that we want, there's an image associated with that within our minds. And so the visualization process is extremely important because it connects us more deeply and fully to that thing that we want. And now, like, as you were describing what you were seeing in your mind, like you were like sizzling and like people were fighting over it. And so there's like energy and physicality, and there's so much. And the more feeling you can put towards that image in your mind, the faster you will manifest that thing. So if it's the Oscar that you are looking to achieve, like we're using that as an example, then you would visualize seeing yourself, you sitting in your seat, at the Oscars, that you would, hear your name being called. You would see yourself on the big screen and like everybody clapping as were being called up for that Oscar, you walking up those steps and carefully getting yourself on that stage, standing behind that podium. So the more real you make anything for yourself, you are connecting with it on a spiritual and physical level, and it will manifest faster.
Now, on that same tip, let's say you're doing a particular character.
Mhm.
I ask different actors this just to see. And usually the answer is similar. And this question is, do you feel those emotions? Because Jimmy Stewart used to say feel, don't, no, he'd say be, don't act. So do you, if you're doing something, are you visualizing that pain from somewhere else, transporting it to that moment, or are you actually conjuring up that emotion at that moment?
So
Whether it's extreme
to
joy.
be something means that you are present in the moment, which means you are feeling what you're feeling, you're seeing what you're seeing, you are being, not in your head, but actually experiencing that. And when we are experiencing or being, then other people are able to feel that because we have mirror neurons. So we're
Right.
able to then see and experience and feel that. That's why it's like when you're watching a movie and that person is truly there in that moment, their being, you start to cry, you start to feel the, the tension in your gut, in your stomach, or you get aggravated at what just happened or whatever, because your mirror neurons are able to then put yourself into that situation. So it truly is about being present in the moment, feeling, seeing, hearing all of those emotions that are associated with whatever it is that you're, portraying.
So how do you turn that off once that scene is over?
So I'll give you an
I
example.
wondered
So when
about
I
that.
was shooting for NCIS New Orleans and my character was shot and I am laid out on the street. And so I'm literally going through the process of dying. Like I'm bleeding out, like I'm dying on the street. And I literally had to go there, like physically, emotionally, like I had to go there. And it was interesting because as they were like, I was laying on the concrete, they were putting down like the little glass shards and stuff like that as they were preparing the scene. And the AD came over and he looked down at me. He was like, are you okay? Because like I had gone there. And so all I could do was like just kind of put my thumb up to let him know that, you know what, like I don't need the assistance or whatever. Like I'm just in this present moment.
Dead, okay? Sister be dead right over here. Leave me alone.
And so after we finished shooting the scene, because I experienced the physical pain, I experienced the spiritual, like a death, like literally, and you can feel it and see it through that scene. After we were done, so they bring me to the hair and makeup trailer to get all the blood and stuff out of my hair, and off of me. And I'm laying in the bowl as they're washing my hair. And I literally was having to go into a meditative state to try to bring myself out of that energy, to bring myself back down and get grounded back to myself, because I was at that heightened state of, emotion or deafness, I'll call it. So that's why I think it's really important to have practices that do allow you to come out of a character or come out of an emotional state and come back to a state of wholeness or a state of centering for yourself, so that you don't get stuck in that emotion or stuck in that state. So that's extremely important.
That seems very important. Because you get stuck in that bad boy, and
then you have like what happened with like Heath Ledger and in the Joker character. Like he went so deeply within that character that became like that was the life that he was living even outside of that role. And I know there's another actress. Man, the name is escaping me. Huh?
You ever see Chris Christopherson in *Star Is Born* with Barbara Streisand?
It's not popping up for me.
It's a long time ago. It's a role that
because I'm like, A Star Is Born. I'm like, with Lady Gaga. Look.
This was the first one, and I love Lady Gaga. What's his name? Brady, whatever his name was.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, but Barbara Streisand and Christopherson killed that shit.
Ooh.
I mean, they slayed it. Because first was the name that did Dorothy in Wizard of Oz. She did it. I think she was with James Mason. But Streisand and Christopherson, it was unbelievable. But they said they were going to give the role to Elvis, but it was too similar to his real character that he just said, no, I can't do it. But if you get a chance, see that. Hey,
Amen.
I've been unable to see Gaga in it because I think
Mm.
I'm kind of like, I used to think I was real free and open-minded. There's certain things I won't touch. I have a hard time going to see the new one because I think I'd be cheating on the old one. I don't see how you could do better than what Streisand and Christopherson did. I just can't. Maybe I should go see.
Well, that's one way to be able to view the situation.
Mhm.
That's one perspective to go at it of, hey, I'm cheating on the original if I go and see the remake,
I just don't want to be
or
let down, you know.
it
I don't want to be disappointed. Like, okay, The
was
Getaway
actually
was
really
volume.
good. It was really good.
Wait, okay, but you go see the first one, and then
Okay.
you tell me. And then, like,
Well,
for instance,
that'll be our challenge to each other is you see the second one, I'll see the first one, and then we'll have a conversation about it.
and also see Manchurian Candidate.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Because actually, I did have a chance to speak to Denzel, and I told him the first one with Frank Sinatra and the lady that was in Psycho. Jane,
Mm-hmm.
I told him they took you guys to the Woodhouse, beat the shit out of you, and dropped the bomb on. And he was like, I was like, they went off on your asses. He was like, I was like, they took you to the And when I saw him again, he said, yeah, it was retarded. It was so good. You go see that, and you tell me if Denzel and all them could. I mean, to me, it was like the JV team trying to play the freaking varsity. It was ridiculous. It was just totally ridiculous.
I know that's right. Well, it's been awesome being on the show with you and being able to have this time. I really appreciate it.
It's been nice talking to you and you imparting your gifts and skills and actually what you said about getting stuck in the character is something that I heard about, not necessarily acting, but in psychoanalysis, where I think it was a preacher, he was saying that if you're going to do psychoanalysis and go back and see your younger self, make sure you have someone there that can take you out of that shit because you could get stuck.
Mm.
But,
The mind is a very powerful thing, and it's not something to be trifled with. It is something to be respected and to be dealt with. And you're right, like to be able to have some guidance, some expert guidance, in navigating some of these different tools and methodologies, especially if you're not familiar with or aware of how they work and what the capability of some of these tools are. But they are powerful tools that are available to us that can help you to reprogram your neurology in a matter of minutes and to be able to step into new states of being, cure phobias, to get rid of allergies. And I mean, healing, like remote healing that could happen. Like our capacity is
limitless.
Limitless. It truly is limitless. And it's about learning how to utilize the tools that we have within us and utilize them to their fullest capacity. You can create anything you want.
I'm going to be thinking about that. And before we go, I want to know, is there any burning desire, any project, because you got 3 or 4 books, maybe more out there. Could you give us something to water our taste buds so we can be looking out there? Because you said that new movie on prime time. Are there other projects coming out, other books coming out, something you want us to take a look at?
Certainly, make sure you check out season 3 of HBO's Barry. You may see a familiar face, which actually releases April 24th, I believe. There are quite a few, at least 2 or 3 national TV commercials that are be coming out really soon that you may see a familiar face. And I would definitely encourage those who are looking to be able to bring their lives to another level, to go to a deeper place of your own self-discovery and growth, to pick up a copy of my book, Rewriting a New History, A Spiritual Path to Audacious Authenticity and Healing. And it's available on Amazon or anywhere that books are sold, but really to be able to get to the messages that are necessary for our evolution as human beings during this particular time of growth and breakthrough. I think that will definitely be a tool that will be helpful for you on your journey of discovery.
Very cool. And how can people reach you on social media if they wanted to talk to you?
Certainly, everything is at Havilah Malone. So HAVILAHMALONE, or you can even email me at ask@havilahmalone.com.
There you have it. We've had the Wonder Kid, Havilah Malone, not Havilah, as I was saying. Havilah Malone. It's been Maurice Dwayne Smith, Nuclear Popcorn, and the popcorn tasting so sweet, and you've made it so buttery. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Take care and keep working it like it just can't be worked better.
I'm going to set tomorrow, so.
All right. Booyah. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Bye now. Still there, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're finished popping.
Okay.
We're popped out.
All right. Okay. So what you? Yeah.
How we do with time?
Huh?
How we do with time?
You did good with time this time. I appreciate it. You're under an hour, so that's good. Okay.
Oh yeah, she's very she's a trip, isn't she?
Yeah, she was really cool. So I tell you what, I have to do some heads and tails cut on this, and well, no, I pretty much will send this to you raw, huh? Yeah, I pretty much. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm gonna do my own editing because I'm learning more about the apps that I use.
Yeah, so I'll be sending this to you raw then.
Okay. And thanks a lot. And yeah, I was having a little problem with my damn phone.
Yeah, you were losing bandwidth every once in a while.
Yeah, I was losing power too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right. So get in contact. Yeah, get in contact with me by Friday, and we'll figure out how to get this to you and all that stuff. All right.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye now.
I'll talk to you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Now record.